Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to a showcase of all the drip feed vehicles from the Casino Heist DLC. I'm going to do exactly the same thing as what I did for the Casino DLC, where I show you everything that we've got to come in the next few weeks and months with the drip feed. We'll get a new one of these cars every Thursday for, the next 3 or so months. We've got stuff from Southern San Andreas Super Autos first, then stuff from Legendary Motorsport. Yes, those are open wheel cars, and stuff from Warstock Cash and Carry as well. So we'll go through them in order. Now, the way that this always works is it's from left to right. So these are the 5 cars that we're going to get on the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website, and the first car that we're going to get is on the left, the last car that we're going to get is on the right. Same thing for the 6 Legendary Motorsport vehicles. These are going to be on the Legendary Motorsport website. The first car that we'll get on the left, the last car is on the right, goes from that order. But in between these two, these two websites, they can do whatever they want. The same is true for the Warstock vehicles. So they can mix it up, they can give you a different car from each website, but we'll always get the cars from each specific website in this order. So first up, we've got the Sultan Classic. This is going to set you back $1.7 million. It's in the sport class, and I guess it's an older version of the Sultan. Sultan Classic, we're getting quite a few classic cars now, so that's what you got coming up first on Southern San Andreas Super Autos. Again, this could be the first car that we get from the drip feed, or it could be the 5th car and we get 4 vehicles from Legendary Motorsport first. It's just how it goes. Next up, we've got the Outlaw. This is in the off-road class. This will be $1.26 million. Looks like an interesting sort of off-road buggy type deal. Then we've got the Drift Yosemite. This is obviously in the muscles class. This is the only muscle car we're going to get from this DLC in terms of the drip feed vehicles. This is going to be $1.3 million, this one. Then we've got the Sugoi, this is called, in the sport class. Got quite a few sport cars from this DLC actually, more so than any other class. $1.2 million this one's going to cost you. And then we've got the Blista Kanjo. This will be the last car that we get from the Southern San Andreas Super Autos website, so this will be closer to the end of the drip feed in a couple of months, maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 months. And this is going to cost you $600,000 in game. It's in the compact class, so it joins the ASBO as, the second compact vehicle from this DLC. Interesting that we've had some compact cars. So those are the 5 cars from the Southern San Andreas Super Autos site, left to right. That's the order that we're going to receive them. Now we've gone to the Legendary Motorsport site. The first car from the Legendary Motorsport site is going to be the only supercar from this DLC. That's the Furia. This is going to be $2.74 million. So very much on the top end of the prices for regular supercars, or regular cars you could say. Don't know how it's going to perform. It looks like it's got an active spoiler, so it's going to just pop up and you're going to get the traction regardless. We'll see what it's like when it's released, but that's going to be one of the first cars we're going to get in the drip feed. The first drip feed car on the Thursday is either going to be this, or it's going to be the Sultan Classic. And that's how it's going to be, it goes between the two. So, yeah, $2.7 million for that one, the only supercar from this DLC. Next up is the Imorgon. Couldn't figure out what the deal with this was on the day, but we've finally figured out where it's going to be and what it looks like and everything. So, this is an electric vehicle, I think. $2.1 million this is going to cost. Sport class, both of these next 2 cars are in the sport class. The Imorgon. I don't know whether to say it the Swedish way, Imorgon, but yeah. That's another electric car, I think, to add to the list. I don't know what's making me say that it's an electric car. I think someone mentioned it. I could be wrong on that, but I think it is. Then we've got the V-STR. This is going to cost you $1.2 million. Again, in the sports class. It's part electric. Okay, yeah, it has. Doesn't it have 2 gears? I think there's something weird about this car, the Imorgon, but oh yeah, three gears when it's upgraded with the transmission. So that'll be an interesting one to test when it's released. But yeah, the V-STR 1.3 million pretty much is going to be $1.285 million. Sports car, you know, the sports cars like this, they just feel like, you know, they could go in sedans, coupes, make things more interesting in those classes, but everything just gets shot in the sports class these days. I'm surprised that we've even got those compact cars put in the compact class instead of sports. Sports class is huge now, and these are just 2 more cars that are going to be added to that. Then we've got these 2 beauties. First up, actually these are the wrong way around. No, these are the right way around, but the theory is that at least my theory at the minute is that these are going to be released on the same day. So even though technically the R88 is going to be, you know, supposedly released first, and then the PR4 is going to be released second, they're probably both going to come at the same time with a brand new creator game mode. I'm going to come back to these cars because there's a lot to explain about them, a lot of differences, there's a lot special about them. They're in a completely separate class. First time we've had a brand new class added to the game. They're not in supers or anything like that. So yeah, I'll come back to these and explain in more detail after I've gone through the rest of the cars. But basically the R88, this one, is going to cost you, this is an Ocelot, the Ocelot R88 in the open wheels class. It will cost you $3.1 million. And then the ProGen PR4 will cost you $3.5 million. Again, in the open wheels class. So those are probably going to be released at the same time, both on Legendary Motorsport, but closer to the end of the obviously the listing. It's going to be later on in the DLC drip feed. And then the final vehicle from the Legendary Motorsport site is going to be the Stryder. This is in the motorcycles class. It will set you back 670,000. From all the reports that I've seen from people who've tried this a little bit early, it's horrible to drive. I can't actually get on this and ride it right now in this Project Homecoming server because it's broken. It's and let's say that the final vehicle from Legendary Motorsport, you can don't worry about it. You're not going to be looking forward to it, I don't think. So those are the 6 vehicles from the Legendary Motorsport site. Again, those are all going to be interspersed in the listing for the Southern San Andreas cars, but also going to be interspersed with the listing from Warstock. So these are the 3 vehicles that we're going to get from the drip feed for the Warstock site. First up, we've got the mini tank, which is floating just because it's weird. It's not going to be like that in the regular game. This mini tank is the Invade and Persuade tank. It's in the military vehicles class. It will cost you pretty much $2.3 million. It's basically an RC tank. But it looks like, from what I've seen, that this is going to be a Christmas gift. So you're going to get this fairly soon when Christmas comes for free. At least that's what it seems to be from things that I've seen on Twitter and stuff. So yeah, RC tank. Then on to the JB700W. W standing for weaponized. And basically the only thing that sets this car apart from the regular JB700 is the fact that it has weapons. Supposedly oil slicks out of the back or something, or proximity mines coming out of the back, and guns on the front. Everything else about the car, whether I don't know about performance, but in terms of, you know, the way that it is, and there's no extra modifications to it or anything like that, it's basically just the JB700 with weapons. Even though the supposedly non-weaponized one in the game has the guns on the top that you can't remove or anything. So the one that looks more clean is going to be the weaponized one. Don't even get me started. So JB700W, that'll be $1.5 million. And then the final vehicle from the Warstock site is going to be the Zhaba. $2.4 million for this thing. I think it's also one of the vehicles that you can already use in one of the new heists, I believe. This can also float. This has boat handling data, so you'll be able to take this onto the sea and, you know, go over the water with it. So yeah, this is in the off-roads class. I doubt it'll be raceable. but that's the class it's in. The JB700W is in the Sports Classics class, obviously, because same as the regular JB700. So those are the 3 from Warstock. These are the 6 from Legendary Motorsport, and these are the 5 from Southern San Andreas. Again, left to right is the order that we're going to be receiving them. First with these 5, then with these 6. We might get the Furia first, then we might get the Sultan Classic, then the Outlaw, then it'll skip over to, you know, the tank, and then they'll release the JB700, then they'll go to whatever's next on Legendary Motorsport, say the Imorgon, then they'll go back over here for the Drift Yosemite. That's how it works always. It's always in left to right order per site, but they can skip between which site they release a car from. So, coming on to these 2 cars, because these 2 cars are pretty special. It's actually amazing that I'm going to be talking about all of this kind of stuff. To think that Rockstar have decided to add this into the game. Obviously, by the way, every time a new vehicle comes out, they'll be testing. I'll be, you know, taking the car out for the testing track, getting a lap time for all of these vehicles. The same is true for Top Speed as well. Just keep an eye on the channel, make sure you subscribed, all that kind of stuff. We're on the Project Homecoming server right now, 5M, that's why I'm able to look at all these. They're not released in-game right now, but obviously I'm going to be doing all the testing when they're released. But yeah, these 2 vehicles, they're in the open wheels class. So they're in a brand new class. Since 2013, since the game was released, we've not seen any new classes added to the game. We got supers, sports, coupes, you know, all that kind of stuff. And this is the first time they've added a completely brand new class. It's unbelievable. So we're going to have, I think it's going to be 22 classes now instead of 21 that we've had since 2013. The open wheels class, these are the only 2 vehicles that are in it. They're not, you know, just lumped into the supers class or anything. And there's going to be brand new races specifically for these cars that you have to create in the race creator. So just like we have a transform race creator, an arena race creator, there's also going to be an open wheel race creator. There's also a prop that goes with that is a pit lane. So the pit lane will, it looks like, fix your car when you go in it. And in those open wheel races, there's also tyre wear as well, which is unbelievable to think that we're talking about tyre wear in GTA. You're going to have to choose in the lobby screen of these open wheel races, obviously what car you want first, but also whether you want soft, medium or hard tyres. And whichever one you choose will give you less, the hard tyre will give you less grip, but it will last for longer. In addition to that, if you keep going too long say if you choose the soft tyre and you go too long with it, your tyres will first of all just completely lose grip, and then if you keep going, the tyres will pop completely, and you have to go into the pit lane, it seems, to, you know, fix the car up again and get those tyres back to normal operating, you know, grip levels. So this is something completely, I genuinely cannot believe that this is a thing. There's lots of different liveries for these cars. There's lots of, you can change the front wings and the rear wings. Obviously the R88 here on the left, this is the Ocelot R88. Ocelot is, you know, Lotus as well as it is Jaguar, so it's obviously going on an old Lotus. That's why that livery, I've put that livery on it. And both of these cars have KERS, by the way, the KERS boost, which is a little bit annoying, but creators should be able to get rid of that in the creator, not allow those boosts to be used. But yeah, the R88, both of these cars are incredible in terms of performance. Okay, like, they're absolutely ridiculous. They're going to be so much quicker. They're probably going to be quicker than the Vigilante, which has the absolute best lap time around my testing track. Easily going to decimate that kind of lap time, I'm sure. But it looks like the ProGen PR4, which is on the right, is going to be slightly quicker than the Ocelot R88, which is on the left. Looking at the handling data for it, the previous best downforce value that we've ever seen for a car is the S80RR, and that has a downforce value of 3.75. Most cars that have downforce are between the 2 and 3 range. These cars are I think it's 4.5 and 5. So the PR4 has a downforce value of 5. Also, the engine power of these cars is pretty much double what any other car in the game has. The highest, the best supercars have engine power values of 0.37 something. There's only the 2 monster trucks and the Akuma, I think it is, that have an engine power of 0.4. And that's pretty much the highest that's available. These have an engine power of 0.7 something or other, so it's almost double. They have very high drag as well, so they're not going to have, super high top speeds. They're not going to be crazy, but they're going to have incredible grip, and they're just going to fly around a track. So obviously I'll be doing the testing for these. There'll be a lot more to come on these cars when they're released. I'll be testing the different tyres, what happens with those, what kind of lap times you get from the different tyres, how that works. Obviously I'll be covering a lot more about the new creator, because you're going to have to create separate races just to be able to use these 2 cars in races. It makes sense that the sort of mid-70s looking style Formula 1 car is going to be slower than the sort of late 80s style Formula 1 car, early 90s. That's probably how it's going to be. But yeah, I'll be doing the testing. They are going to set you back a pretty penny, over $3 million, but it's something that's completely unique. And I didn't think I would ever see the day that we would see open wheel race cars with tyre wear and pit lanes to fix your cars in GTA. It's going to be absolutely ridiculous. Also, yeah, if you damage the front wings on these cars, you'll also lose grip. You'll lose a lot of the downforce. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And yeah, like I said, you can sort of modify these cars, so you can change the front wings, you can change the rear wings, you can change the body panels on the side, so you can kind of take these models and make them look how you want. Obviously, like I said, this is kind of like the Lotus, and this is, with it being a Pro-Gen PR4, it's kind of emulating the McLaren MP4. It's amazing. So whoever it was at Rockstar who decided to run with this idea and put them in and I can't believe tyre wear is a thing. Unbelievable. Thank you for indulging our interests with this. So yeah, these are, like I said, these are going to be one of the last. They're probably going to come at the same time with this brand new creator, and they're going to be some of the last vehicles that we get from the drip feeding. So I expect it in 3 months maybe, once we've got through all of this stuff. But yeah, going to be incredible. I'll probably stream on the morning that these are released as well, and maybe we'll try and look into this creator before it's released as well. So stay tuned for that. But that's it. That's a full showcase of all the vehicles. Thank you the people who've helped me on the Project Homecoming server sort these out. As you saw the little cameo earlier. So yeah, that's all of them. That's all of them. Hopefully this is helpful. I will obviously be linking this in those discount videos, and so people will always be able to reference this. You'll be able to always come back here, and in 5 weeks time we've got these 3 vehicles and we've got these 2 vehicles. You know that the next vehicle then is either going to be this one or this one. That's how you can do it. Process of elimination as we go through. So there you go. Those are all the vehicles from the Casino Heist DLC. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Make sure to do all the good stuff. Subscribe. Keep tuned for all the testing for all these vehicles as they come. And yeah, as always, thank you guys for the support. And as always, I'll see you next time.